how did you get alignment from the leaders, from at the executive level, to jump on the bus and say, yes, let's go ahead and do this? How do you get that buy-in to lead this change?
Yeah, and buy-in's important. I've learned a lot since I've been at Elastic, because the companies I was at before were, a lot bigger. And sometimes going through the journeys I've gone through with other companies related to Agile or Salesforce, I can see where I need to go, and I can see where I think the value could be derived from if we head down this path. And so when you're approaching a change like this at a company who's a little smaller, but also may be used to doing it a specific way, you want to make sure you inform and enable and educate why we're doing this, and the reasoning, because you're asking a lot of people to take this journey with you and to trust you to a certain level, not only at the individual, developer level, but also at the executive level, because even though it's a little clunky in the older system of one big Scrum team, it's predictable. You know what you're going to get. It may not be the most efficient, but and I'm not picking on Elastic, just in general, you kind of know what you know. And then so to disrupt that, to break it apart and to rebuild it with the intention of going faster is a bit of a leap of faith for leadership. So, my method was to share, here are where I see we should break out the teams. Here's the advantages. Here's the potential metrics we'll baseline and measure. But more importantly, there's an element here that I think I underappreciated until recently, which is skill diversification, right? So if you have 3 or 4 people who just know CPQ, and they happen, not just know, but they're the ones who know CPQ the most, and the rest may not have been caught up, or they weren't part of the initial CPQ project, you want to get the rest of the team diversified, because these 3 individuals can't keep taking all the CPQ stories. They want to do other stuff, or we have maybe more demand. So one of the other advantages in communicating to leadership and getting buy-in was, we'll start to diversify the skill sets amongst different developers or admins, where we won't have 1 or 2 single points of failure when it comes to a specific area of technology. So just a quick example, DocuSign, I had one person who knew it very well and no one else. So when he went on vacation or had to take some leave and we had an issue, we were a little at risk. And so the other part of this Agile transformation was, within these Scrum teams, they'll start to take on stories that maybe one person knows, but eventually over time, the skill sets and the technology cross-pollination of how to do things within certain areas of CRM, people start learning a little bit more and they learn quicker. So selling that message to leadership was easy. Selling it around velocity and getting more work done was easy. What was more difficult was asking for, and not that it was difficult there, but just, there's other messaging where you have to say, look, we're gonna probably the first 2 or 3 sprints be a little clunky. We're going to have a few growing pains, and we need to make sure that you're patient with us. Right. We're going to try not to. Yeah, we're going to try not to impact anything around delivery. That's still our number one priority, but be understanding that we are going through some significant change. And once you get them kind of bought into the goodness and put some reality to how this is going to have to be done, that became a lot more, of an easier sell. And I'd say the last thing was, and we can get into this a little later, is I hired a partner company to help us, sharpen our Agile skill set. So we're going through some Agile coaching. There's little workshops, there's one-on-one coaching. And so what this does is, the people who are now formed in these new Agile teams, they're not only starting to get to know each other a little bit more, they're starting to bond, because you want that natural, kind of team spirit to start to develop, but they're also getting some education in the last couple of weeks, certainly the next few weeks, around what the proper way to run an Agile team. Even though some of them know this, not all of them may not know it to that level that we want them to. So it's a nice refresher as well.